right, everybody, back with a brand new Mindset and Motivation Monday here on the Cabral Concept. Can't wait to get into today's show, which is what it takes to be successful. So I heard this quote the other day. I thought it was a little bit harsh, a little bit crass, but I wanted to share it with you anyways, because nonetheless, it still rings true. And so sometimes the quotes hurt a little bit. They do. Like, I'm scrolling through social media and I'm just looking for a little bit of renewed invigoration, motivation from some of my favorite accounts. And I come across this quote and I just kind of stopped me and I said, I don't know if this is one that I want to repost or share with my following, my audience, because it can absolutely be taken the wrong way. But let's get into it right now. Let's see how you feel about it. So this is the quote: to be a success at most things, you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't, and that's consistent, determined, and willing to work for it every day. I'll repeat that one last time. To be a success at most things, you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't, and that's consistent, determined, and willing to work for it every day. So I'm going to go through what I think about this, but I would love to hear from you, of course, in the comments. So what do you need to be? Consistent. What does that mean? Show up every day, no matter what. The second, determined. That means that you're going to see it through no matter what obstacles you encounter. And then work at it every day. Well, what is that? Well, it's really a combination of the first two, right? You're consistent every day. You show up. Determined, that means you're willing to fight through the obstacles and challenges that life inevitably presents on a daily basis. So when I read it, as I said, I thought that this was a little bit harsh, right? So it's like, well, what do you need to be? Well, you don't need to be special, right? You just need to be what most people aren't. 99+% of people aren't this. What does that mean? Well, they're not consistent. They're not determined. They're not showing up every day. And so Although I think the words sting a bit, myself included, like if you're not reaching a goal, right, to be a success in that area, you have to say, well, then I'm not successful. Why am I not successful? And I think we need to start looking back at these three specific things, because like, I get it. You know, when we set out to reach a goal, we're doing it to be successful in that thing, to improve our body, our health, our relationships, our career. Anything that we have that we set for a goal, we want to be successful. Or why would we even spend the time visualizing or journaling or thinking about or daydreaming, right? Because we don't want to set ourselves up for disappointment. So of course, we have big goals. We want to reach what we feel is our potential, or at least that next level in life. But then we don't get there. Why don't we get there? And if we step back and we really think about it, is it because we're not as consistent as we should be? We're not as determined as we need to be, and we don't show up necessarily every day. And so I would say that for myself, I don't know about you, but for myself, it's probably true. Meaning that I can be determined. I really can. Meaning, like, if there's an obstacle, I will, if I have a powerful enough why, and I've talked about that just a couple of weeks ago here on the show, I'll fight through it. But am I always consistent? The answer is no, I'm not. And so for the things that I want to accomplish, if I haven't accomplished them, almost always, I haven't set aside that 30 minutes a day. Because this is one of the biggest things I say to people, is that the reason you can't have 5, 10, 50 different goals is because each one of those goals needs your attention, undivided attention, for 30 minutes a day. And so I don't know about you, but how many 30-minute time slots do you have per day that you can dedicate to this? Me, maybe 1 or 2. That's it. So before the day starts, I'll give it that one. I can get a 30-minute in there. And then that 30 minutes, it's going to be tight. Maybe at lunch, but the work day can absolutely get in the way. Maybe right before dinner, where my workout time is. If it's health-based, maybe I can habit stack in a positive way. Or maybe when my daughters go to bed right before, maybe I do, right? I go to bed. So there's not a lot of spots. So I say 1 to 2. That's all that I can get in. And it's one of the biggest things that I share with my clients is that we need to stay grounded and focused on one big goal every 12 weeks. And after it's settled in, we might be able to find another 30-minute block. But again, myself included, I already wanted my next book to be done. But what happened? I had other higher priorities that I needed to make sure got done even before that. Because although I would love to have written my next book, it wasn't the highest priority. It didn't have a stronger why than what I've already been working on. And you'll see some of those debuts coming in just the next month to 2 months. You'll see the Reimagined Health Summit come in about another 3 weeks or so. So these are all things that had a higher priority, a bigger why, and that was really important to me. Developing a brand new labs portal that has never been done before for practitioners, higher priority. Working with bigger partnerships than we've ever done before for the good of bringing at-home lab testing in the world, higher priority. So again, but did I work on those other things? Absolutely. Did that take up my 30 minutes a day? 100%. It did, right? So I wasn't able to allocate it. So what I need to do, maybe like you, is to say, okay, Reimagined Health Summit, some of these major things, it ends October 25th. I'm going to take that weekend off. I've got something fun planned with my wife and 2 daughters. And then I'm going to just kind of make sure that I nail all of the basics for that next week. And then come November 1st, then that starts the next chapter, the next phase. That next 12 weeks is really when I want to take what I've already written and outlined and thought about and a million times. I've got a whole folder on it for my next book. And so that's how I look at it. Again, for me, I gave you a fairly mundane one, writing a book, right? But I've had this before for rehabbing my shoulder. I tore greater than 60% tear in the labrum of my shoulder. Lots of pain during the pandemic. And I went and they said, surgery is your only option. And I said, I'm not doing surgery just because I'm not going down that path right now. But it was painful. So I went to physical therapy and I got almost no results. Like, it was still painful and I wasn't even that much stronger because I was losing strength from that much pain in my shoulder. I wasn't able to do it. Then I saw, just again, there is always an answer. I kept asking around, I need a referral for I need a better rehab person. And I found one. I asked around my network, I called around, I did a bunch of assessments. A bunch of people weren't that great. This person was. So what I did was, within 12 weeks, stayed focused on that shoulder. Now it's pain-free. And maybe once a year, it's been 3 years, maybe once a year the pain starts to come around and I know exactly what I need to do in order to get rid of that pain. So you can use this in any area of your life. I've done this for, someone just got newly diagnosed with high blood pressure, and even 6 months before that was type 2 diabetes. Okay, well, when we started working together, I said, we need to, for the next 12 weeks, so that's a 12-week year, and then one more, so 3 to 6 months, we are going to lock down helping you lose the 60 pounds that you know that you want to and should lose. And by doing that, almost just as a side event taking place, we're going to normalize your blood sugar levels and blood pressure. Again, not giving any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis. Almost always that's going to happen. And I know this back when I was an 18-year-old personal trainer and nutritionist. I help people lose 30, 40, 50 plus pounds, and all of a sudden, blood sugar normalized for type 2 diabetes, blood pressure normalized, cholesterol normalized, all these things with metabolic syndrome. Why? Because we were doing all of the right things to get the body healthy. Back then, I didn't even know about naturopathy and functional medicine, bioregulatory medicine, all this. I didn't have all those things at my disposal. But what I had was good, clean nutrition, good, clean nutritional supplementation, exercise, movement. I had a lot of the de-stress protocol back then. I didn't know it all. I knew about 50% of it, but it was enough to normalize. And this is my first time working with this person. So I said, this is what we're going to do. You're going to get the results that you want, but we need you to lock in on this. When do we need you to lock in? Every day. Every day. And so that's why when I design a plan for someone, I need to know how strong their why is. How determined are they? But inside of that quote, I don't even know if the person meant it this way. It's not enough just to be determined. It's not even not enough just to be consistent. You need to be consistent and determined every day. And that seems like a lot. It really does. And I get that. And here's why. Sometimes you get the call from the school and your child's sick and you need to go and get them, right? Or you get sick and you get pushed out of commission for a little bit, or you need to work longer hours at work, something comes up, whatever it might be, a project, a deadline, or the thing is sometimes the inevitable, or not the inevitable, but like the unthinkable happens. It is the pandemic. And I've got colleagues of mine, friends of mine. They own gyms, personal training studios, massage therapy studios. They're estheticians. They're chiropractors. There are many different people, and their wellness locations get shut down. And they're like, well, I am determined. I am consistent, but the government, the city's shutting me down. What do I do? And so, listen, I get it. Like, life is sometimes throwing you these curveballs. So what we need to do is be as adaptive as we can, because we know that all hard times pass. They really do. In the moment, it seems like it will last an eternity, or it seems like there is no way out, but they do come to pass. And so what we need to do is stay focused in the moment, not on, today didn't go perfectly, so I'm just going to do it tomorrow. No, if you don't feel well, again, if you need to bed rest. But like, if you're not feeling your best and exercise was today, still exercise. Just don't go all out, right? Or go for a walk. Keep your body moving, right? If your main goal is weight loss, what can you do? Oh, well, someone brought in food at work and I couldn't go out for lunch, and so I had to have a sandwich. Okay, well, that was lunch. You eat as little as you can for that food that you're not supposed to have, like the deli meat cold cuts and the bologna and the, orange cheese and the, white bread. Yeah, you shouldn't be eating that, right? That's not a health food. But you have a small amount, and maybe you always keep a bar with you, or something at least like somewhat healthier, maybe a shake, maybe whatever it is that you have. And then the goal is just to get right back on track after that meal. Don't let the rest of the day go. Okay, you had one mix-up, wasn't a perfect day, sure, but a whole lot better than then going out and having a full pizza for lunch, or I should say dinner, and missing your workout. So all we need you to do is not be perfect, but literally stay on task. That's what it is. And that's why so there's not a whole lot of things that I've changed viewpoints on, but when I was in my 20s, I used to make out this list. This is the 100 things that I'm going to do in 100 days. And I was just trying to accomplish so much. And maybe that wasn't a bad idea then. Maybe it wasn't. I didn't have kids. My wife and I were still just dating. We could work all day. We could go out to dinner at night, and maybe it was right, maybe it was wrong, I don't know. But it also led me to understand that you can't do that all the time. And you especially can't do that when you have more and more responsibility at work, at home, relationships, you have kids, you have maybe sick parents or aging parents, like whatever it might be. The more responsibility you have, the more service you are to others, which is amazing, by the way, the less time you have for you. But that doesn't mean that you should neglect you. Because every time you neglect you become just a little bit more resentful that you don't have any time of your own. So if we can carve out a little time for your own, and how much? I always say 30 minutes. Because think about it. When I talk about 30 minutes, I say, what do I need to do for any one of my goals? Like, think about that. So let's go back to body transformation. All right. You can prep all of your food the night before. If you're on the go in the morning, you can do a workout, and a great workout, within 30 minutes. Literally, like you can work your way up to running a 5K in 30 minutes. You can absolutely do a weight training session in 30 minutes. Go back to my old school podcast on escalating density training, EDT principles, and so much more. You're taking a little less rest, but think about it. You do a 5 exercise circuit. Okay, so that's going to take you about 5 minutes, maybe 7 seconds maximum. Let's just say 1 minute per exercise. Take 90-second rest in between, maybe even 3 minutes, right? So what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at 8 minutes, that's 16, and then 5 minutes more, 21 minutes. And you could even include a little bit of a dynamic warm-up with that, and even like a minute or two of foam rolling your tight IT bands after the workout. So you can get it in. So, okay, so 30 minutes, right? Well, what about for getting healthy? Getting healthy, if you look at the rain barrel effect, is really just making sure that you are improving in all the areas that you need in the first place that you're already doing in life. Improving your sleep, improving your stress, moving your body. Like, it's just like, it's all of those things. You say, I don't have time to walk. You can do what I do in the morning. You can do the walk and talks, right? So if you have the ability to, if you're on a Zoom call, you're able to walk and talk, right? Like that's a great way to get in your steps. Or if you have to be at a desk, get a walking treadmill. I doubt anyone at work is going to be upset if you have a walking treadmill. The walking pad, you can see all my resources at stephencabral.com/resources. All my favorite companies are there. So what I'm saying is think about all the excuses that would typically come up, because I have them myself. And then what I tried to do is to mitigate those excuses, already knowing that this could come up, this could come up, this could come up. Oh, don't have time for a workout. All right, can I do 5 minutes of body weight exercises and movement just to get something in? Sure, I could do that, right? Like, oh, we're out of this, and this in the house. What's my backup? Maybe not the best meal in the world. Can I just make a shake? Can I have some of this, and this that are always ready to go? So you always have your backup plans so that you always have a plan B for your plan A. Plan B isn't going to be as good, but plan B will do for the day itself. And that means when you look at it as no matter what, I'm not giving myself an out, that I am going to stick to being consistent at the same time, ideally every single day. That is how we change from becoming a person that it's just your average everyday person. Like we're all just typically average everyday people. Everybody gives everybody else a whole lot more credit for their talents and innate abilities. Most people don't have these super talents and innate abilities. Like sure, some people are really good at math. Some people are 6'6" and really good at basketball, right? Like it's like, yeah, there's a couple of those things, but not for like 99.9% of people. 99.9% of people, we're all kind of alike. We do different things, but we're all kind of like different personalities. So going back to that quote, you don't need to be special, right? Like, I mean, I like to think of us as we're all special. I mean, it's better to think like that. I like to say you're special. I'm special. My kids are special, right? Like my wife's special. I like to think of it like that. We all are, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to crush our goals in life, that we're going to reach our potential. And why do I keep saying that? It's because everybody feels better when they feel that they are growing and that they feel that they are striving towards a life worth living. What's a life worth living? For you, it's bettering your best. For your kids, it's helping them to try to better their best. For your parents, it's trying to make their lives maybe a little bit easier now. Like it's always trying to help people better their lives, including you. And I've just found that if you can focus on less and you can allocate 30 minutes a day, you are going to be that person, unlike most, unfortunately, right? But everybody has the opportunity. That's the thing. Most of these things don't cost a lot of money. It costs us focus and consistency, determination, and more than anything, the willingness to work at it every day. Hopefully today's Cabral concept was helpful. I appreciate you tuning into the show. And of course, if it was, do share the show with anyone you believe it could serve. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the day. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.